Saul Canelo Alvarez, the current face of boxing, a man who has conquered multiple divisions. He has achieved almost everything a fighter could dream of achieving in this brutal sport. Yet, there's a whisper, a persistent thought, a desire that refuses to fade into the background of his many triumphs. As recently as September 2024, Canelo himself admitted it. He spoke of wanting a rematch with Floyd Mayweather Jr., the man who handed him his first professional defeat. It's not about the money for Canelo, not primarily. He has plenty of that. It's about something more profound, something deeply personal for a warrior of his stature. This isn't just a casual wish for another big payday, although that would certainly be a byproduct. For Canelo, this is about legacy. It's about exorcising a demon from his past. He famously called that 2013 loss a little thorn he wants to get rid of. Think about that. After all these years, after all the belts, after all the iconic victories that have followed, that one night still gnaws at him. It speaks volumes about his competitive fire. It tells you that the Canelo of today, the seasoned pound-for-pound king, believes he is a vastly different animal than the young fighter who stepped into the ring against Mayweather all those years ago. Consider his recent activity. His bout against William Skull on May 3, 2025 was a win, a unanimous decision, as expected. But some critics called it uneventful. Perhaps Canelo too craves a challenge that truly ignites his spirit, a challenge that would capture the imagination of the entire sporting world. A Mayweather rematch, however improbable, represents that ultimate test against a specter from his formative years. It's the kind of fight that transcends the current rankings and belts, tapping into a narrative of redemption and growth that resonates deeply with fans and the fighter himself. He's now slated to face the formidable Terence Crawford in September 2025. This is a legacy fight in its own right, a truly dangerous encounter. A decisive victory there would only amplify Canelo's already stellar resume. But even then, the shadow of Mayweather might linger. Could a spectacular performance against Crawford, one of the best pure boxers of this era, finally convince the world, and perhaps even Floyd, that a second chapter is warranted? Or would it simply reinforce the argument that Canelo has moved on to conquer new, more relevant mountains in the current boxing landscape? Let's rewind the clock. September 14, 2013, the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. The lights were blinding, the anticipation was electric. A young, undefeated, and incredibly popular Canelo Alvarez stepped in against Floyd Money Mayweather. Mayweather was the master, the defensive wizard, the undefeated kingpin of the sport. Canelo was the challenger, strong, determined, but ultimately, on that night, outmatched in a way that few had anticipated. It wasn't a brawl, it was a boxing lesson, a display of ring generalship that was almost painful to watch for Canelo's ardent supporters. Mayweather's performance was a quintessential display of his genius. He utilized his speed, his unparalleled defensive skills, and his ring IQ to neutralize Canelo's power and aggression. The younger fighter, just 23 years old at the time, simply couldn't find Mayweather consistently. He swung at air, he walked into perfectly timed counters. Floyd dictated the pace, the range, everything. It was a unanimous decision for Mayweather. Though one judge, C.J. Ross, inexplicably scored it a draw, a scorecard that remains controversial and frankly, baffling to this day. For everyone else watching, the outcome was clear. Mayweather was simply on another level. The emotional toll on Canelo was immense. This wasn't just another fight, it was his first taste of defeat on the grandest stage. He later admitted, with raw honesty, to crying from a sense of helplessness after the loss. He confessed that his lack of experience was a glaring factor. That admission is crucial. It shows a young man confronting his limitations, a champion in the making, absorbing the harshest of lessons. It's that vulnerability, that acknowledgement of being outmaneuvered and outthought, that fueled the fire for the incredible career resurgence that was to come for the Mexican superstar. That night in 2013 was a crucible for Canelo Alvarez. It could have broken a lesser fighter. Instead, it forged him. He didn't make excuses. He didn't dispute the rightful winner. He went back to the drawing board. He understood that raw power and youthful exuberance were not enough to conquer the very elite of the sport. The loss to Mayweather, as painful as it was, became a pivotal turning point, the catalyst that propelled him towards becoming the more complete, more cunning, and more dominant fighter we see today, a fighter now vastly more experienced than that young man. Floyd Mayweather Jr. today is a different figure than the one who clinically dissected Canelo. He officially hung up his professional gloves in 2017 after defeating Conor McGregor, capping an incredible 50-0 record. Since then, his presence in the ring has been limited to lucrative exhibition bouts. These are not serious contests in the competitive sense. They are spectacles designed more for entertainment and a hefty paycheck than for cementing any further legacy in the annals of legitimate boxing. He faces influencers, former MMA fighters not known for boxing and the like. It's a different world from the high-stakes chess matches he once orchestrated. These exhibitions, while financially successful for Mayweather, do little to suggest he's preparing for a genuine return against a prime, active world champion like Canelo Alvarez. The training camps are different. The intensity is different. The risk is certainly different. Floyd, now in his late 40s, is enjoying the fruits of his incredible career, and understandably so. He has nothing left to prove in professional boxing. He conquered his era. The idea of him stepping back into the fire against a Canelo who is arguably at his peak, or very near it, seems like a stretch of monumental proportions from a purely competitive standpoint for Floyd. Contrast this with Canelo's journey since that 2013 setback. It has been nothing short of spectacular. He didn't just rebuild, he reinvented himself. He climbed weight classes, collecting world titles from super welterweight all the way up to light heavyweight. He became undisputed at super middleweight, a rare feat in modern boxing. Fighters like Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Kovalev, Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Saunders, a list of formidable champions and contenders have all been added to his resume. He learned from the Mayweather loss, incorporating better defense, improved footwork, and a more patient, calculated offensive attack. The Canelo of 2025 is a far cry from the fighter Mayweather faced. He's stronger, wiser, and infinitely more experienced in navigating 12-round championship fights against world-class opposition. He used that initial defeat not as a scar, but as a blueprint for improvement. He became a student of the game in a way he perhaps wasn't before. He has systematically dismantled opponent after opponent, building a Hall of Fame career brick by brick. His motivation, as he stated, to get rid of that little thorn is understandable. But he has also grown into a fighter who has cast his own enormous shadow over the sport. The mere whisper of a Mayweather-Canelo rematch sends ripples of excitement through the boxing community and beyond. Why? Because it's a clash of eras, a meeting of two of the biggest names the sport has ever seen. Fans remember the first fight. They've witnessed Canelo's incredible evolution. The what-if factor is immense. Could a mature, vastly improved Canelo solve the Mayweather puzzle this time? Or would Floyd, even past his prime, still possess that unique magic to frustrate and outpoint the Mexican icon? The narrative is simply too compelling to ignore. A ready-made blockbuster. For the sport of boxing, a rematch even now would be a monumental event. It would generate colossal pay-per-view numbers, mainstream media attention, and endless debate. It would be a spectacle, pure and simple. Think of the build-up, the press conferences, the storylines of redemption versus enduring greatness. It has all the ingredients for a crossover mega fight that draws in casual fans alongside the hardcore boxing aficionado. Even if purists argue about the competitive merits given Mayweather's age and inactivity, the sheer star power involved would make it an undeniable global attraction, injecting a massive dose of excitement. But let's be realistic. The likelihood of this rematch happening as a legitimate, sanctioned professional bout is slim. Very slim. Mayweather is comfortably retired from the rigors of world championship boxing. Canelo is an active champion in his prime, facing dangerous contemporary challengers like Terence Crawford. The risk-reward calculation for Mayweather would be immense. Would he truly be willing to jeopardize his perfect record against a younger, stronger, and highly motivated Canelo, who is a far more polished fighter than the one he faced in 2013? It seems improbable, despite Canelo's expressed interest. Ultimately, while the dream of Mayweather-Canelo 2 captivates, it may remain just that, a dream. A tantalizing what-if scenario for fans to debate. Canelo's desire for it is a testament to his own competitive spirit, that insatiable need to right a perceived wrong from his youth. It highlights his journey from a talented youngster to a seasoned great. The fight itself, were it to somehow materialize, would undoubtedly be a spectacle. It would capture the world's attention. But the boxing world moves on, and Canelo has carved out a new legacy, one that stands impressively on its own, thorn or no thorn.